Breaking into Hollywood can turn you into one of the richest people on the planet. But which of the glamorous female stars of the silver screen are the most successful? These are the 20 richest actresses in the whole world in 2023. But not all of them are the faces you're expecting to see. Who tops the list? Let's find out. Number 20. Sarah Jessica Parker, $150 million. What's the best way to become one of the wealthiest actresses on the planet? Well, starring in one of the biggest TV series of all time is a good start. A lot of Sarah Jessica Parker's wealth came from the hit HBO show Sex and the City, but she started acting long before that. She made her debut at just 8 years old in The Little Match Girl, and she followed that up on Broadway with a role in The Innocents. But she saw her biggest successes in the 80s and 90s when she starred in box office favorites Footloose, Hocus Pocus, and The First Wives Club. No wonder she's worth a whopping $150 million today. Sarah Jessica Parker had a pretty normal race to the top, but the next star on our list has had more personas than we can count, and she even had to step out of the shadow of her famous dad. Number 19. Miley Cyrus, $160 million. Miley Cyrus has had a lot of work to do to become more than just Billy Ray Cyrus's daughter, and I guess Dolly Parton's godchild. She first became famous as the star of Hannah Montana, which was a hit among children at the time. But she must have decided she wanted to be more than an idol to kids. She became pretty controversial after that, and these days she's one of the biggest paparazzi targets in the world. But she's maintained a highly successful singing and acting career. Her role in The Last Song cemented her position as a talented actress. But it's her multiple personas combined that have earned her a huge net worth of about $160 million. She's not the only star to start out in an acting role aimed at young people. The next person on our list became famous the same way. Number 18. Jennifer Lawrence, $160 million. We all remember Jennifer Lawrence's breakthrough leading role in The Hunger Games. It was all anyone could talk about at the time, but it was the film Winter's Bone that really made her into one of the most celebrated actresses of our time. At just 25 years old, she became the youngest actress of all time to receive 4 Oscar nominations. And no other actress has managed to take that title from her yet. A lot of her wealth came from starring in the hit films Silver Linings Playbook, Joy, American Hustle, and of course the X-Men film franchise. That last one alone would be enough to make anyone rich. So what's her current net worth? An impressive $160 million. Jennifer got her break pretty early, but the next person on our list somehow fit in a whole career before she started acting. Number 17. Charlize Theron, $160 million. You might be surprised to learn that the South African-born star Charlize Theron didn't actually start out in acting. She first had a career as a ballet dancer, starring in productions of Swan Lake and The Nutcracker. Unfortunately for her, after moving to New York to join a prestigious ballet company, a knee injury ended her career as a dancer. That was probably terrible for her, but it was good news for us because we'd never have seen her on the big screen if that hadn't happened. And the Academy sure thinks she deserves to be up there because they gave her an Oscar for her role in Monster. But these days, she's often seen in roles that utilize her beauty, like Atomic Blonde. Add her acting chops and good looks together, and you get about $160 million. Now let's move from an Atomic Blonde to an Avenger. Number 16. Scarlett Johansson, $165 million. These days, everyone will recognize Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow, but she didn't always star in Marvel-scale movies. She started acting off-Broadway when she was just 9 years old, appearing alongside a young Ethan Hawke. It wasn't long before she hit her big break at only 13 when she landed a starring role in The Horse Whisperer. Her career has been an interesting mix of box office smashes and indie films, but she seems to turn everything she touches into gold. She's been nominated for an Oscar twice, including a Best Actress nomination for her role in Marriage Story. She's done a lot of films, and she definitely deserves her $165 million net worth. Although we'll bet most of that money came from all the Marvel movies. $165 million is a lot of money, but we need to jump up a bit for our next actress. Number 15. Sofia Vergara, $180 million. Sofia Vergara took a pretty unexpected route to stardom, and that's probably because she never expected to become an actress. Believe it or not, she originally trained to be a dentist. But lucky for us, a photographer in her home country, Colombia, noticed how beautiful she was, and by the age of 25, she'd given up her career in dentistry to become a model. There's no doubt the catwalk is more glamorous than a dentist's surgery, but she was about to move on to even bigger things. She started her screen career by hosting a travel show, and that led to her starring role in the hit series Modern Family, which we all know her for now. That show earned her 4 Emmy nominations. But it also earned her a lot of money. After all, it boasts one of the highest paid casts of all time. Thanks to that, Sofia is currently worth about $180 million. Sofia went from being a career woman to a star, but some actresses earn their millions the other way around. Just ask number 14. Jessica Alba, $200 million. Jessica Alba is another actress who's probably most recognizable for her role in a superhero film. But the Fantastic Four star has done a lot more than just that. Her first big role was in the 1994 comedy Camp Nowhere. But she only started becoming a household name thanks to the TV show Dark Angel. It didn't last long though, and probably isn't well remembered today. But films like Good Luck, Chuck and The Love Guru are still pretty memorable, even if that's not always for the right reasons. But she didn't earn a spot so high up this list just for her roles in those films. She's since opened her own business called The Honest Company, which she launched in 2011. It proved to be a huge success, and combined with her acting career, it has boosted her net worth to a whopping $200 million. Jessica made her name in the 90s. But to learn about the next actress on our list, we have to go back a lot further than that. Number 13. Jane Fonda, $200 million. Jane Fonda has acting in her blood as the daughter of screen legend Henry Fonda. Her dad starred in countless classics, but she definitely didn't live in his shadow, even if she did start her career appearing on stage with him in the Oklahoma Community Theater. She became a household name in her own right, earning more awards and nominations than most people can dream of. She won an Oscar for Best Actress twice, for roles in the films Coming Home and the celebrated 1971 thriller Klute. She also has 2 BAFTAs, a Primetime Emmy Award, tons of Golden Globes, and an AFI Lifetime Achievement Award, even though she's still a working actress. Even with all that, you might know her best from the series of workout videos she released in the 80s. I doubt she cares about that though, with a net worth of $200 million. While Jane Fonda was supported by her parents, the next actress on our list had a troubled start. Number 12. Demi Moore, $200 million. Demi Moore's childhood turned upside down when her stepdad tragically ended his own life. She went down a difficult path after that, dropping out of school at 16 years old, working as a debt collector, and marrying a rock star at just 18. We all know now that the marriage didn't last, but by the time it had ended, she'd already started working as a model and starring in General Hospital. Still, she didn't quite turn her life around when she was nearly fired from the hit St. Elmo's Fire for using drugs. She got clean and met Bruce Willis and started a very happy family with him. We know the marriage has ended because she famously married Ashton Kutcher after that, but they're still on good terms. And she's in a very good place, with a staggering $200 million in the bank. Demi Moore could have gone down a very different path, and that goes for the next actress on our list too, although in a very different way. Number 11. Sandra Bullock, $250 million. Did you know that Sandra Bullock almost became an opera singer? Her parents were an opera singer and a voice actor, so it almost seemed inevitable, especially after she appeared on stage in a German opera at only 5 years old. She only switched to acting later in life and got her breakthrough next to Keanu Reeves in Speed. She went on to win a Golden Globe and an Oscar for her role in The Blind Side, about the story of NFL legend Michael Oher. But we'll bet you loved her more in Ocean's 8 or Bird Box. She shows no signs of slowing down in her acting career. even with a huge net worth of $250 million. Opera is a pretty serious form of entertainment. In contrast, the next actress on our list made her name by making people laugh. Number 10. Julia Louis-Dreyfus, $250 million. Julia Louis-Dreyfus started out working with Chicago's Second City comedy troupe. Obviously, she had a knack for making people laugh that got the attention of some of the most important producers in the business. It wasn't long before she had to move to New York to take on a role in the historically successful show Saturday Night Live. As if your career couldn't get any better than that, she was about to land another role in one of the biggest sitcoms that has ever existed, Seinfeld. That role earned her her first Golden Globe and Emmy Award. She hasn't slowed down since, taking the lead role in her own HBO smash hit, Veep, and even entering the Marvel Universe in the TV series The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. If anyone says you can't get rich doing comedy on the small screen, just point them toward Julia, who has a net worth of $250 million. There's no doubt Julia holds a special place in American culture after starring in those American classics. But to meet our next star, we need to travel to Australia. Number 9. Nicole Kidman, $250 million. Nicole Kidman actually dropped out of school to follow her dreams. Normally, that's a terrible idea, but the star had studied ballet, mime, and drama, and thought she had all the tools she needed to make it in show business. She was right. In 1983, she got her first role in a movie, an Australian Christmas film called Bush Christmas. It wasn't long before she got an agent in the US and headed for Hollywood. While filming Days of Thunder, she met Tom Cruise, which would lead to one of the most high-profile marriages ever. The relationship started hitting rocky ground while the pair were working with one of the most celebrated directors of all time, Stanley Kubrick, on Eyes Wide Shut. Rumors were spreading through the media, and the couple soon divorced. But it didn't hurt Nicole's career. Her latest role in the HBO hit Big Little Lies earned her 2 Golden Globes and 2 Emmy Awards. That might explain why her next big role in the Hulu series 9 Perfect Strangers comes with a paycheck of $1 million per episode. How much is she currently worth with a salary like that? $250 million. Nicole Kidman was part of a kind of celebrity package deal while she was married to Tom Cruise. She's moved on since then, but the next people on our list still often come as a pair. Number 8. Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen, $250 million each. Twins Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen were some of the cutest stars ever to hit our screens when they were first introduced to us in Full House. But now they're adults, they're also super successful. Their company, Dual Star Entertainment, which was involved in releasing their super popular home videos, was earning about $1 billion a year at one point. They have had a few starring roles since their time as child stars, but over the last decade or so, they've turned into fully fledged fashion designers. You can purchase their budget-friendly clothing line called Elizabeth and James, but you might need a net worth that matches theirs to buy anything from their high-end brand called The Row. If you're wondering how successful they are as designers, you only need to look at their combined net worth of $500 million for an answer. The Olsen twins made a lot of their money from other careers, but the next person on our list did it the old-fashioned way, by getting lots of starring roles in big films. Number 7. Julia Roberts, $250 million. At one time, Julia Roberts was such a huge star that she earned the biggest ever salary paid to a female actor for a single role. That was for the classic film Erin Brockovich. And in case you're wondering, the check she received was a whopping $20 million. That's far from being the only film she starred in that is now considered a classic. She's also known for Steel Magnolias, My Best Friend's Wedding, quirky English rom-com Notting Hill, and of course Pretty Woman. She's still going strong too, with recent roles in the series Homecoming and Gaslit, which will be released later this year. How much money has the once highest paid actress earned overall? $250 million. Julia Roberts has been in so many famous films, she hardly needs an introduction. And that's true of the next actress on our list too. Number 6. Jennifer Aniston, $300 million. Everyone knows Jennifer Aniston from her role as Rachel Green in the most famous TV show of all time, Friends. It ran for 10 seasons and had sky-high viewing figures the whole way through. Rumor has it, Jennifer was earning a shocking $1 million per episode for the last 3 seasons of the show. Obviously, she's gone on to star in huge movies with A-list co-stars since Friends ended. But those $1 million paychecks are more than enough to create a huge net worth. And they sure did. She's currently worth an impressive $300 million. We're betting there's still some money she earned on Friends sitting in her bank accounts. Like Jennifer, the next person on our list knows a thing or two about being in one of the biggest shows of all time. Number 5. Victoria Principal. $350 million. Victoria Principal landed a role of a lifetime when she was cast in Dallas, one of the world's most popular shows ever. But amazingly, she never originally wanted to be an actress. It was only after a traumatic moment in her life when she was in a car crash that she changed her mind about what she wanted to do and moved to LA to try acting for a living. And there's no doubt she achieved that goal. But her last role was in 2000 when she was cast in Titans. But her net worth is a whopping $350 million. So where's all that money coming from? Well, she founded her own skincare company called Principal Skin, which has made over $1 billion in revenue since she launched it. The next actress on our list also knows all about having more than one successful career. Number 4. Cher. $360 million. Cher is instantly recognizable around the world. That's because the icon began performing in the 1960s and hasn't stopped since. Sure, she got her start in music and has sold a remarkable 100 million albums, but her acting career is no less impressive. She won an Oscar and a Golden Globe for the film Moonstruck, and backed it up with another 2 Golden Globes for Silkwood and the Sonny and Cher Comedy Hour. Her roles in Mermaids and Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again also brought her legions of fans. And that's without even mentioning her Tony Award-winning musical about her life. Her bank balance does a good job of summing up her achievements. It stands at a whopping $360 million. Cher's unique in many ways, but her move from singing to acting isn't. The next actress on our list did the same thing. Number 3. Jennifer Lopez. $400 million. Jennifer Lopez is what's known in show business as a triple threat. That means she can sing, dance, and act. She actually started out working with some other greats, first as a backup dancer for both Janet Jackson and New Kids on the Block. She then landed a role as a fly girl on the brilliant sketch show In Living Color, which also featured very young Wayans brothers and Jim Carrey. She had a wildly successful career as a singer, selling more than 80 million albums. But she's also proven herself as an actor, with big roles in films like Hustlers, Made in Manhattan, and Monster-in-Law. And all that work has created a whopping $400 million jackpot for her to enjoy. Who can possibly have a net worth bigger than uber-famous Jennifer Lopez? The answer might surprise you. Number 2. Reese Witherspoon. $440 million. Reese Witherspoon is America's sweetheart. That's been true ever since she landed her first big role in The Man in the Moon at 14 years old. These days, she's probably better known for other big screen roles in Cruel Intentions or Walk the Line. But as the line between TV and films has become more blurred, she's been lending her talents to the small screen and earning a lot of money for it. Her roles in both Big Little Lies and Little Fires Everywhere reportedly came with $1 million paycheck for each episode, making her the highest-earning actress in the world. And that's without the money she's earning as an executive producer. All of this has built up her net worth to a whopping $440 million in 2023. But incredibly, she's still not the richest actress in the world. So who is? Number 1. Jamie Gertz. $3 billion. Okay, we know what you're thinking. How can an actress that hardly anyone knows have such a ginormous net worth? Well, Jamie Gertz has had some pretty good roles over the years, including parts in Different Strokes, Family Ties, 16 Candles, and The Lost Boys. She's also had appearances on big shows like ER and Entourage. And she's done other things besides acting, like working as a scent designer. But that doesn't come close to matching Reese Witherspoon or Jennifer Lopez. Well, you're right to think that. Most of her money actually came from her marriage to Tony Ressler, a very wealthy owner of an asset management company. We're not going to say that's kind of like cheating when it comes to this list. We'll leave it up to you to decide if Reese Witherspoon should have the #1 spot. These wealthy actresses clearly know how to manage their money, but not all famous people are good at that. Check out our list of the dumbest ways celebrities went completely broke if you want to see the other side of celebrity riches.